Hello everybody, welcome to Cinemaholic Productions. My name is Spencer Henderson and I'm a Cinemaholic.
My name is Ryan Gordon and I'm a Cinemaholic.
And today we are talking about First Reformed, which we saw the second day of the Telluride Film Festival. It's written and directed by Paul Schrader, who's somebody who I am a huge fan of his work. He wrote one of my favorite movies of all time, Taxi Driver, as well as Raging Bull, and he's written tons of other great movies. Hardcore is another one that comes to mind. And this is a movie starring Ethan Hawke, who's an actor who I like, but never really pictured him going into a role like this. And the plot is an ex-military chaplain, played by Ethan Hawke, is wrecked by grief over the death of his son. And Amanda Seyfried plays a member of his church whose husband, a radical environmentalist, commits suicide, setting the plot in motion. Ryan, go ahead and tell us what you thought of First Reformed.
I'll start off by just saying I'm going to be very vague, and I'm not going to be able to say as much as I would like to say about this film. So stay tuned, because as soon as this one actually comes out, and as soon as we get a hold of Blu-rays or an opportunity to see it, we are definitely going to do a specific film analysis on this movie because of the ending, and that's all kind of, I'll say, it's a very open ending, and that's what's going to get people talking. And I hope people don't consider that a spoiler, because I didn't say anything about it.
Nah,
but it's that, I mean, that's the whole point of this film, is it's a very intense and tense journey as you're following a character to the conclusion, and it's going to spark a lot of conversation. This is the one that we've come out, it's divided everyone that's seen it. You either love it or what the hell did I just watch, kind of a thing. And every single time we've stood in line for a film, this film has come up in conversation of people kind of asking. We've been able to have a discussion on what it meant for us personally, and I think that's the thing that I loved the most about this. And so far we've seen 10 films at the festival, and we're about to go see The Shape of Water, which is really kind of the only big contender at this point. I know this film, The First Reformed, has been your favorite so far, and it's in my top 5 of the festival, so I'm interested to see if this next film is able to knock it out. But what are kind of your thoughts? This was your favorite?
Yeah, this movie blew me away. Like, I was in a trance in this movie, and I read a little bit about Paul Schrader after this, and he wrote a book called like Transcendental Film, I believe is what it's called, or Transcendence of Film. And that's the thing about him, is with movies like Taxi Driver and Raging Bull and now First Reformed, he's able to put you in with the character and ease you in, make you get into this person's everyday routines and kind of who they are as a person. And when it starts off, you really find Ethan Hawke's character to be a likable, decent person. And the movie progresses. I don't want to give anything about the movie away, but it's a different character really in lots of ways from anybody he has ever dealt with. And this movie deals with crazy concepts like faith and regret, and it does so in a way that is incredibly interesting, and I was really in for a long time. I also think the cinematography in this movie is outstanding, and the way that he frames a shot is very interesting. It was shot in a 4:3 aspect ratio, which is the same ratio that A Ghost Story was shot in, and I think that even means something. There's so much in this movie to read into, and that brings me to the ending, which I won't spoil obviously, but I will say that there's a point in the third act of this movie where everything changes and it becomes a completely different movie, and that's what's going to make it or break it for people. Up to that point, even people who don't love this movie will probably be in, but the ending is really what makes this movie the movie, and it completely worked for me on every single level. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. It will for sure be in my top 10 movies of 2017. So what would you score it, Ryan?
I was hoping you'd score it first. I have a feeling I know what your score is. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed the pacing of this film. Like he said, every single shot in this whole movie is so meticulous, and every single aspect of filmmaking in this movie can be analyzed, and It's plantings, it's payoffs, everything. Even there, we talked about it for a brief second. Even the shots of framing a car perfectly in the center at the beginning of the film when everything's perfect, as to later in the film when things start changing up and you start seeing the world how it really is. That same shot is done, but the car is moved and it throws the whole perfect frame off. And just like the thought and detail that went into this blows my mind. After a second watch, I know I will give it a higher score, but as of right now, I'm going 9.
That's the same way for me. I think I'll give this a higher score on my second view. Right now, I'm going to score a 9.25. I think that this movie is incredible. I think the performances are all great. There's a lot to read into. The only reason why it's not higher right now is because I still am deciding what I thought of it. But the way that this movie promotes discussion, and like he said, every single time we've been in line, we've heard people talking about it or we've talked about it with people. And this is one of those movies, kind of like Denis Villeneuve's Enemy, that is going to promote so much discussion. So check out First Reformed when you get the chance, especially if you're into movies like Raging Bull or Taxi Driver. But anyways, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at SpinnyHand. Ryan, where can they find you?
Follow me on Twitter and Stardust and Letterboxd at Rye_Gordon.
And thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, bye.